Hello, race fans, and welcome to the Nashville Super Speedway, where tonight it is the inaugural running of WRLA Xfinity Series Racing from here at Nashville. It is our 12th race of the season, and my, oh my, the second half to the year has definitely kicked off in a pretty big way. The last time you saw these Xfinity Series drivers, we were at the Michigan International Speedway, and my, oh my, it was definitely a bomb of a time. And it was actually, I do believe it might have been Caleb Rose that went on to take the checkered flag, if I do possibly remember off the top of my head. I may have to go back and actually look at it. And survey says that indeed it was actually Carter Belair that wound up getting his first Xfinity Series victory. But now we're here at the Nashville Super Speedway, and this is actually one of those races that I've kind of been waiting for quite some time. But ladies and gentlemen, I am actually not alone here. Joining me here in the booth, it is none other than Russell Blaze. He wound up competing last night in the Menards Truck Series race, and now we got him here in the booth for tonight's Xfinity race. Russell, what's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm surviving and excited to see what these ladies and gentlemen, can do.
Hey, man, so am I. But this is absolutely going to be an interesting time here. You actually competed here last year in the NOS Energy Cup Series, and you even wound up getting your first victory here with Durrani Racing last season. And Sly, or Russell, this is definitely going to be a pretty interesting night here for the Xfinity Series. There's definitely a good chance that they're probably going to race a little bit similar. What do you think that these Xfinity drivers are going to have to take in mind here as they're going to be racing around this 1.3 mile facility for the next 90 laps?
Turns 1 and 2 can be a little tricky, along with 3 and 4. And also, you can use the apron in the, I guess you'd want to call it the tri-oval here at Nashville, and try to preserve tires as much as possible for being on concrete.
Absolutely. And we all know that concrete can definitely eat up the tires just a little bit more than the asphalt can, and especially when it's baking under the sun, just like it is here at the Nashville Super Speedway. And speaking of bacon, the points are definitely baking up for sure after Michigan. Let's go ahead and take a look at the point standings coming into tonight's race. Ray Atikian still on top of the point standings with 318 points to his name. 40 points back is Thomas Jericho with 278. John Boyd is third with 268. In the fourth spot is Reagan DeFeo, our Auto Club in Charlotte winner. She wound up racing last night in the truck race at Talladega alongside Russell Blaze, but she currently is sitting fourth with 252. Alexander Rowe with 245, and he completes your top five in the fifth position. Sam Robinson sixth with 242. Ryan Kendall seventh with 238. 236 for our Chicagoland winner Campbell Marsh. Erica Douglas ninth with 217, and Igor Barreto completes your top 10 with 212. Take a look at the rest of your point standings right there, and as you see the rest of what your points look like. And Russell, I think Joshua Neely is definitely due for a second chance here in the Cup Series. That definitely talk us through the decision making on giving Neely a second chance here for the Cup Series tomorrow night.
So, with the mishaps at Mosport last weekend, I felt it was only right that Neely didn't get a fair shot to race in the Cup Series. So I told him and the rest of the team that they will get a fair shot tomorrow night and see what they can do.
Well, definitely for sure. In his Cup Series debut last weekend, he wound up getting credited for a 13th place finish, although that is pretty impressive on paper. unfortunately, Mosport definitely proved to be a little bit of, let's say, kind of a crapshoot, if anything, a kind of more so a dumpster fire, as the track obviously was not coded correctly, and yeah. Lots of pit road mishaps, if anything, and we're definitely for sure. We know for a fact that's not going to happen here at the Nashville Super Speedway, and we're very excited and we're ready to go racing here at Nashville. Let's go ahead and take a look at your starting lineup. As you see there, you got Kasumi Takashi, our Las Vegas winner, starting on the pole position with Sarah Taylor, who won last night's truck race, and she is on a roll, starting up on the outside pole. Reagan Whitlock and Noah Kars make up our second row. Row number 3 sees Haley Curris and Igor Barreto, Austin Kane and Dana Mon in row number 4. In the row number 5, you're also going to see Joshua Neely and Eric Blaze. Speaking of Russell, Neely starting in 9th, and your son Eric starting in the 10th position. How about that?
Qualifying up there in the top 10, it's especially good to be up front, even at the start.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Marcus Sachi and Val Moscow. We'll see Moscow tomorrow night in the NOS Energy Cup Series along with Russell Blaze. But continuing on here, John Boyd, Justin Ingleham. Then you got Thomas Jericho and Ajax Fitzgerald, followed by Campbell Marsh, Haroon Conquailoglu in 18th. And then Alexander Rowe and Celeste Alace complete your top 20. With Dean Thompson. That's actually not Dean Thompson, ladies and gentlemen. That is actually Abby Walker. So I wound up using the wrong car, but that is Abby Walker in the number 26, followed by Marion Judicia, Erica Douglas, Caleb Rose, Reagan DeFeo, Nick Martin, Jordan Sumner, Bobby McGuire, Ray Atikian, our points leader, starting back in the 29th position. Going to be very interesting, Russell, to see what strategies and what cards that Ray Atikian is going to play, whether on the racetrack or in the pits, in order to cycle himself to the front of the field and maybe potentially try to get win number 3 on the season.
Yeah, Ray Atikian, I'll admit, great acquirement for Wyatt. Atikian is very, very dangerous because he can start in the back and within mere minutes be near the front. I'm still trying to figure out what he's doing.
You got Will Parrish also completing the top 30. And then finally, our final 9 starters will be Ryan Kendall, Carter Belair, our winner from Michigan just about a month ago. Then Sebastian Cucalon, Steve Morgan, Josiah Munsell, Sam Robinson, Kenny Stremme, Brock Nelson, and then Derek Hamill will round out our 39 car field. And the reason why we have 39 cars is because that's how many cars the track unfortunately supports. So somebody unfortunately had to fail to qualify, and Bryce Egan, who wound up racing at Talladega, did not make the cut. So with that said here, ladies and gentlemen, there we go. I guess I didn't hit the continue button, but it is so good for you guys. It is so glad. I'm happy that you guys are here to see some WRLA Xfinity Series racing for the first time. For those of you that are brand new, welcome on in, and hopefully you enjoy the action from the Nashville Super Speedway. 90 laps of action, and let's continue to keep the momentum of the second half of the season going. It's time to go racing here at the Nashville Super Speedway. We had an amazing truck race last night, and we're getting ready to have another classic here tonight. The drivers are strapped into their cars. Pre-race ceremonies are just now starting to wrap up, but in order to get these 39 behemoths rolling on the racetrack, we got to get the command to fire the engines. So let's go trackside and get just that.
Drivers, start your engines!
And there it is. Engines are fired. Pace car is rolling off. And so are these 39 competitors. And Russell, we're going to have ourselves a pretty interesting race here tonight. Tomorrow night's Cup race, and especially even last year, it was 150 laps. But these Xfinity drivers are going to be doing 90 here tonight. Any driver in particular that you got your eyes on coming into this race?
Obviously, besides Neely, I'm not going to lie. I got my eye on Atikian.
Very interesting.
And hopefully Eric and Neely can work together since they are starting side by side.
Well, hopefully that's the case. Fingers crossed as the field comes off of turn number 4. Pace car going to make the left-hand turn down to pit road. And Kasumi Takashi and Sarah Taylor, they're going to lead the field down to the green to get the party started here in Nashville.
It was like they were going 3 wide before turn 1.
And right out of the gate, threading the needle is Eric Blaze in the number 8 machine, looking to try to get potentially 2 birds with 1 stone heading through turn 3 this time around. You also have the 11 of Igor Barreto almost up against the wall, about pretty close to that as they fan out across the start-finish line to complete lap number 1. Takashi led it at the stripe, but they are absolutely fanning out early in the going.
Breakaway, 2 wide to the rest of the way out. Let's make that 7.
So far, yes, indeed, 8 cars that have currently broken away single file until you get back over here for the fight for the 8th position, actually. Well, fight for 8th, yes. With Igor Barreto fighting off Austin Kane in the number 3, rocketing around the outside goes the 11, and there's Joshua Neely in the number 1. We'll see him tomorrow, see if he'll be able to potentially make his second NOS Energy Cup Series start tomorrow night. You'll see qualifying live at 1 p.m. EST over on right here on Twitch, and it's definitely going to be pretty interesting with the Cup Series tomorrow night, because the Cup race definitely was pretty calm, cool, and collected, and so far in this race, we're starting to see a lot of these drivers break into a single file rhythm. There's Ajax Fitzgerald in the 88, trying to get around the number 41 of John Boyd. This looks to be for, I would want to say, probably right around mid-pack. Yeah, for the 14th, or 13th position, rather, as top 12 have now gotten themselves single file, but a lot of the action is back over here. Ooh, Douglas got pretty close there to cutting the nose off of Thomas Jericho's machine. They race through turn number 4 down the front straightaway. Definitely trying to get themselves into a green flag rhythm early on, but Boyd is going to be able to get by Fitzgerald, and as will Alexander Rowe. And in the Jamie McMurray throwback pretty early, I should say, is the number 26 of Abby Walker, already making her way up into the 16th position. And so far, everybody in the top 10 has kind of settled down just exactly right. Sort of, I wouldn't say sort of right where they started, but I mean, unless if your name is Kasumi Takashi, or even the 24 of Sarah Taylor, who's just been absolutely on a tear. She won last night's Truck Series race at Talladega, and Russell, you know, you definitely would have had a little bit of better luck if you didn't translate what you had on iRacing over to the track at Talladega, for sure.
Yeah, Talladega, you either are in line or you're lost with the draft, or you just get collected by God knows what. And you know, I was hoping to do something I don't think that's been done, win at the same track in 2 different series. but that got cut short, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, it just was not meant to be. At Talladega, late in the going with Carson Miller, he wound up flipping absolutely violently sideways and backwards, kind of just doing barrel rolls through the tri-oval, and unfortunately the track pretty much got blocked, and that's where Russell Blaze sadly piled in. The brakes just weren't quite working on that 07, but nonetheless, he's here with us here for tonight, and we'll see him on the track tomorrow night for Cup qualifying and the race as well. There's our points leader, Ray Atikian, in the number 20. So far, he's moved up 3 positions. Sitting in the 26th position, there's Jordan Sumner, left-hand side of your screen, the Monster Energy Machine, in the number 98, currently sitting 25th. Sebastian Kukulon right there in the 25 in the 27th position. And as far as the Walker Family Motorsports cars, Reagan Whitlock, we saw her not too long ago. She's currently running in the 3rd position. Also followed by the 18 of Campbell Marsh sitting in 21st. You're looking at Ray again riding in the 26th position, and Derek Hamill has been marred back in the 34th spot. So with 10 laps complete, the racing is just pretty much going on back over here, but everybody's going to get themselves into a little bit of a single file rhythm and kind of feel their cars out before we get to our first round of green flag pit stops.
Yeah, like if it's like when the race is green all the way out, it always becomes a pit road battle of who can get off pit road first. You know, you may have problems, you may not, but the main thing is you want to make sure that you're in and out.
Kind of like In-N-Out Burger, if anything, but as of right now, 3 cars, again, they're all kind of just under a blanket with one another. Takashi in the number 39 for NS Racing has led every lap since the drop of the green flag. And right now, Takashi, she's definitely looking to try to add another win on the Xfinity Series column for NS Racing. She won at Las Vegas earlier this year, back in March, and is definitely looking to try to do it again here at tracks within that 1.5 mile range, if anything. Sarah Taylor, again, riding in that 2nd spot. The momentum has just been absolutely spectacular with this driver. Again, winning the truck race last night and starting 2nd tonight, and so far running in the runner-up spot, running right where she started. Almost 1/6 of the way through this race, and there's again Reagan Whitlock in the 54. Was a former NOS Energy Cup Series driver. Of course, she ran back in 2017 when she had her own team with the Angry Birds Star Wars Cup car, the number 33, if anybody remembers that car, but had been absent from WRLA for a little while, but came back in 2023, driving for Cologne Motorsports for 2023, and last year, unfortunately, was not able to secure a ride in the Cup Series, and got picked up by Walker Family Motorsports this year. And I'd say Reagan Whitlock has definitely had herself kind of a pretty solid year so far in the Xfinity Series, but still has yet to score that elusive first career win in the WRLA for Reagan Whitlock, and that definitely has been around for quite some time. There's also Noah Cars in the 92, still searching for his 2nd career win in the Xfinity Series. His first win here came in the McDonald's Series days, actually, back at Michigan International Speedway, when we used to kind of run like a sort of Atlanta-esque package at Michigan, where we had a lot of 3 wide and sometimes 4 wide. They had a lot of major accidents coming off of turn number 2, to be more specific. But that is where Noah Cars wound up getting his first career win. He drove the number 42 Eneos machine. If anybody remembers the sponsorship of Eneos, man, that definitely takes me back. But Noah Cars in the number 92, so far running in the 4th spot, doing a very nice job. And how about this? Haley Curris in the 44, who's currently dead at last in the point standings coming in. Definitely needing a fantastic run tonight, and so far she's getting it. almost a quarter of the way through, or just coming close to a quarter of the way through this race here at Nashville. And how about this, Russell? Your son Eric has moved up into the 6th position.
Yeah, he's been doing good, especially when he does race in the Cup races. So obviously translating that back to Xfinity has helped him out, especially in the with now going into the second half of the season. See if he can move up at least maybe into the top 10 in points and try to keep his seat for next season in the Cup Series.
And of course, you know, for most of the season, Eric Blaze did have the keys to the number 26, but of course, Russell picked up the phone and called up Neely to drive the car starting at Mo Sport, try to give him an opportunity behind the wheel of a NOS Energy Cup car. So Eric Blaze, of course, kind of taking a back, I wouldn't say taking a back seat, but definitely taking a break from the number 26 for a little while. But it's definitely not the last of that you will see of Eric Blaze as far as running the number 26 in the Cup Series. Or who knows, possibly might be able to shuffle between the two drivers, if you will, kind of swap them out wherever you need them. And I'd say so far for this race, Eric Blaze is definitely doing a really good job, just keeping that momentum up, if you will, and just definitely turning around what has been a very rough start to his 2026 year.
Yeah, the start that he's been having has been a kind of zillish kind of a season. But yeah, you know, me taking him out of the 26 for the Cup wasn't really an easy decision, but the choice for the race for the 26 seat next season pretty much was trying to light a fire under all 4 cars, and all 4 will get a shot in some of the races for the remainder of the season. So plus I want him to focus a little bit more on the Xfinity races more than anything right now.
So far, Eric Blaze definitely doing a very good job. Dana Mon in the number 27, running in the 7th spot, doing an absolutely amazing job here in this event. Came close to winning in the Xfinity Series several times, especially back in 2017. And who knows, you might have also seen that Dana Mon run in the NOS Energy Cup Series as well back in the inaugural year of 2017. I do believe he potentially might have driven the 01 back when Michael DeFeo, back when we were being ultra realistic, yeah, with the penalties and the fines and the suspensions, if you will, all that silly garbage that we've kind of just done away with, but some people have not. But regardless of that, I mean, Dana Mon, I think he might have driven the 01 when DeFeo got indefinitely suspended from the Cup Series at the time, before he quote unquote went through the Road to Recovery program. But Dana Mon currently running in the 7th position. Igor Barreto, who won at Brazil, so far running in the 8th spot. Austin Kane, a veteran to the Xfinity Series, also ran back in the McDonald's Series days when drove the number 9 back in 2017. He sits in the 9th spot, ironically enough, and Joshua Neely in the number 1, the driver that gave Death Rider Racing their first career win in the Xfinity Series side at Minnesota. He sits in the 10th spot, and you definitely got to be very impressed with the performance that Neely's been able to provide all throughout the 2026 season, not just with the win at Minnesota, but also keeping it up with the consistency throughout the first half of the year heading into the second half.
Yeah, I've been very impressed, you know, and I obviously seeing what he can do. If he keeps it up, he could be in the top 10, maybe if he, maybe strings a couple wins together, not like back to back, but he may have a chance at winning the championship, maybe.
Definitely may have a chance at winning the title here in the Xfinity Series, and who knows, that possibly might see him in victory lane a couple more times here this year in the Xfinity series. But one thing that you're definitely starting to notice is that there is a little bit of a tire fall off. I am noticing that these drivers are kind of taking the corners a little bit easier than what they were towards the beginning of the race when they were running a little bit harder. And that's that concrete that you were talking about, Russell. When it's baking under the sun, it definitely is going to wear out the tires just a little bit harder. And that's what we're starting to see here as you see Igor Barreto kind of running a little bit of a higher line going through turns 1 and 2.
And sometimes one thing I know I didn't mention in the pre-race part, but sometimes you may notice that you may start sliding a little bit in turn 2 with tire fall off, which I know is not fun myself from driving for Durrani Racing last year. And you get close to that wall, sometimes it can give you a wake-up call if you smack the wall.
Absolutely. Absolutely, for sure. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it does appear that we probably might be a little bit closer to that pit window. I would expect these drivers to come on down, I'd say right around the halfway mark of this event, possibly right around lap 45. They might come in a little bit earlier, so definitely want to keep an eye on that. And just as I say that, here we go. Our first round of pit stops are underway. Kasumi Takashi's going to lead them down, while Sarah Taylor and Reagan Whitlock, they stay out. Also see a few other cars that came on in. Ryan Kendall in the 00. Derek Hamill got his service, so he's down and away, as is Campbell Marsh and also the 45 of Reagan DeFeo. But everybody,
they came in a lap early.
Definitely came in a lot earlier than what I thought that they would, for sure. But Takashi's going to come in and get her 4-tire service done, as will a lot of these other drivers, as everybody else has definitely come on in. And now Sarah Taylor, Reagan Whitlock, they are in as well, along with Justin Ingleham, Boyd, Rowe, Abby Walker, and even Caleb Rowe. Sam Robinson getting service done to his car right about now. And his teammate of Kenny Shremy, well, just getting wrapped up. They've gone to the left sides, and look at this. Pass on the apron. Noah Cars gets by Kasumi Takashi. Ooh, very interesting of what we just came back over to. Oh my goodness. Definitely a very interesting maneuver there, just as the drivers were coming back on the racetrack after getting service done to their cars.
Yeah, it's like they told Takashi, like, I don't know, you going a little slow, move out of the way. I got a job to do.
Absolutely. There's Sarah Taylor in the 24. She's rejoining the racing surface, and Reagan Whitlock kind of marring back just a little bit, as is Alexander Rowe, Aiden Ingleham, and several others. So the race lead looks like is going to cycle over to Noah Cars in the number 92. So your top 10 is going to look like this with 34 laps complete. Here at Nashville Super Speedway, it is Noah Cars leading the way, with Kasumi Takashi sitting in second, Haley Curris now moving up into third, Sarah Taylor in fourth, with Eric Blaze rounding out your top 5. Then it's Reagan DeFeo finishing currently running in 6th, not finishing, but currently running in 6th. Erica Douglas in 7th. Campbell Marsh has moved up into 8th. Reagan Whitlock up to 9th, and Dana Mon rounds out your top 10, as Amon just got by Alexander Rowe for that 10th position. And just like that, we are right back to a single file sort of formation. If anything, a few drivers that did not have good pit stops whatsoever, one of which being Igor Barreto, who had been sitting 8th on the racetrack, now has been marred back to the 39th position. Huge trouble for Igor Barreto.
And with Neely, he was, I believe, 10th upon going into green flag pit stops, and I think 32nd.
Yeah, but marred back into the 32nd position, so definitely had a lot of issues on pit road for Neely's team. Austin Kane, I notice, is back here. after running inside of the top 10 as well in the number 3 machine. As well, Austin Kane is back here after running inside of the top 10 as well in the number 3 machine. As well, Austin Kane is back here after running inside of the top 10 as well in the number 3 machine. As well, Austin Kane is back here after running inside of the top 10 as well in the number 3 machine. As well, Austin Kane is back here after running inside of the top 10 as well in the number 3 machine. As well, Austin Kane is back here after running inside of the top 10 as well in the number 3 machine. As well, Austin Kane is back here after running inside of the top 10 as well in the number 3 machine. As well, Austin Kane is back here after running inside of the top 10 as well in the number 3 machine. As well, Austin Kane is back here after running inside of the top 10 as well in the number 3 machine. As well, Austin Kane is back here after running inside of the top 10 as well in the number 3 machine. As well, But definitely a lot of our contenders that were running inside of the top 10, they have been definitely marred back, and other drivers that were running towards the back end of the field, well, now they get an opportunity to shine towards the front of the field. Rayatikian, our points leader, to check in, is now up to 23rd. He's picked up, well, 3 more spots on the racetrack. How about that?
Yeah, that's the kind of thing that I was talking about beforehand too. Kiki's very dangerous. Like, he's methodically picking up positions one by one. And I don't know what else I can say.
Well, definitely for sure, Rayatikian. So far, he comes into this race with a 40-point lead over. I can't quite remember anymore who he has the points lead over, but regardless of that, I believe it might have been. I think it might be John Boyd. But speaking of, they are together on the racetrack so far, 23rd and 24th. But Boyd definitely long overdue for a win for Vision Motorsports, and I'd say they've been doing an absolutely spectacular job at the beginning of the season, but they kind of sort of lost their touch, if you will, when the month of May started. Obviously, with Tanner Parton in the Cup Series, he had definitely fallen outside of the top 3, but still hanging on to the top 5 in points, as we'll see, as we'll go over tomorrow night. But as far as the Xfinity Series side, John Boyd has also had his troubles here in the Xfinity Series. Ryan Kendall has kind of been pretty methodically consistent and pretty quiet as of late, but so far running in the 19th position, pretty close to mid-pack. And Derek Hamill, let's talk about him for a little bit. He was closer to the tail end of the field. Last time we checked with him, he was running 34th, and he picked up 14 spots after that first round of green flag pit stops. He's up to 20th. Closer to the front of the field. Let's check in with our leaders. Takashi definitely got pretty close to the back bumper of Noah Kars there, just ever so slightly, and almost retook that top position from the number 92 of Noah Kars. The closest that 39 has gotten is right there, 0.2 of a second practically, but has not quite made a move just yet. We'll just have to wait and see here as we head into the second half of this race if Takashi is going to be able to make some sort of maneuver, kind of like what you did last year on Bruno Giacomo with just a handful of laps to go in the Cup race last year.
And I tell you, I'm not gonna lie, I was nervous when I got around Giacomo, and just to, when it comes to say 5 to go, you're gonna be nervous because you know you got everybody fighting to try to take that spot away from you. It's easy to be the hunter, not easy to be the hunted.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely here, ladies and gentlemen. But we are officially past the halfway mark of the 12th race of the season for the WRLA Xfinity Series. For those that are just now tuning in, we have concluded our first half of the race. We have been caution-free, and Kasumi Takashi was our pole sitter. She led a good portion of the race, but after our first round of green flag pit stops, the lead had cycled over to Noah Kars in the number 92, with Takashi sitting in second, Curris in third, Sarah Taylor in fourth, Eric Blaze rounds out your top 5, followed by Reagan DeFeo in sixth, Erica Douglas in seventh, Campbell Marsh eighth, his teammate of Reagan Whitlock in ninth, and Dana Mon sitting inside of the top 10, coming around to complete lap 47 of the scheduled 90 laps here tonight.
He would have came out as the leader, but Noah Kars had other plans. They kind of spoiled it for Takashi.
Noah Kars looking to add another win to his win column here in the WRLA Xfinity Series, trying to go for win number 2 of his career, first of the season. And Kasumi Takashi trying to go for her second win on the year Remember, she won at Las Vegas back in March. And looking to try to do it again for NS Racing. NS Racing, let me just say this. They've been actually absolutely strong over here on the Xfinity Series side, but over on Cup, it's got a bit of a different story. Sort of an up and down, sort of roller coaster kind of year with all three cars, with the exception of Nathan Stapleton himself, kind of just inside of the top 10, but Stapleton kind of having similar luck to what he had last season in the Cup Series, and unfortunately just wasn't able to translate it over here into this year, but he wound up getting a win credited over to him after we completed half of the race at Mosport with the mishaps and the just obvious errors at Mosport, and that's what gave Nathan Stapleton his first win since 2020. Whether if he wanted to win it or not, or at least in that way, he definitely didn't want to win it in that way, but NS Racing has kind of had an up and down year in the Cup Series, but here in the Xfinity Series with Kasumi Takashi, they've been absolutely strong.
Yeah, I can't say anything bad about anybody. Stapleton may need to try to get notes from the rest of his own team. But like, my team is doing good here. The Cup side is almost maybe the polar opposite. So it's like one series is doing good, the other one not so much, and sometimes it may flip-flop. But with the second half of the season coming up, I think anything's possible for anyone. It's just a matter of who's going to be the hungriest.
No, absolutely. I couldn't agree more with that. Now, less than 40 laps of racing to go, and we are definitely more than likely going to see these drivers in another 10 laps time make their second round of green flag pit stops, and more, and definitely for sure this is going to be pretty interesting, because if their pit window is within the next 30 to 35 laps, who knows exactly what we're going to see once we get closer to 5 laps to go. Are these drivers going to be able to make it the rest of the way on that set of tires that they're going to get in their next round of green flag pit stops? Are they going to be able to pack these cars up on fuel so that way they're good to go the rest of the way? There's a lot of unknowns that we're about to see here that are about to unfold after this second round of green flag pit stops, because that is where we're going to see which crews have definitely been saving up their stuff, which drivers have been saving up their stuff, and which pit crews are definitely going to have the strategy call that could get them in victory lane here tonight.
I couldn't agree anymore with that, because it's just a matter of also who's holding back. And once these final pit stops happen, it's time to drop the hammer and see what everybody's got.
Oh, absolutely, for sure. Eric Blaze currently running in the 5th position, and Reagan DeFeo running in the 6th spot, with the top 4 kind of just pretty definitely pulled away from 5th and 6th. Blaze and DeFeo are kind of just riding all by their lonesomes, kind of just in their own zip code. And then you get back over here to Erica Douglas, who's running in the 7th spot, but also has Marsh and Whitlock right behind her, and even Dana Mon as well. So Walker Family Motorsports has definitely got 2 cars inside of the top 10. Both of them could be very capable of getting the Walker Family Motorsports, I do want to say, 4th win of the year in Xfinity Series competition. Remember, Ray Atikian won twice at Iowa and Texas World, and then Campbell Marsh here followed that up with a win at Chicagoland after Charlotte. So it would have been 3 in a row if Atikian won at Charlotte. He came up 1 spot short, but it also would have been 4 in a row if Atikian won Charlotte and then Campbell Marsh won Chicagoland. But it would be 4 wins this year for Walker Family Motorsports in the Xfinity Series side if either Marsh or even Reagan Whitlock can get the job done.
And I just had some crazy things just popped in my head. what if, and obviously there's a big what if, me and Eric took home the wins at Nashville.
It is very possible. That could definitely happen. I was sort of thinking about a potential first win here for Eric Blaze that could potentially be incoming here tonight. So far, again, riding in that 5th spot. So maybe as we are getting close to that pit window, we're about to find out if Eric Blaze's pit crew has definitely been holding back and kind of saving up their strength for this second and more possibly our final round of green flag pit stops that are coming up here shortly. And if Eric Blaze has definitely been holding back on the equipment that has been underneath this number 8 machine, we're about to find out.
He is slowly catching the 24, little by little.
Yes, Sarah Taylor in the 24 has been absolutely spectacular here tonight and ran second all the way up until the first round of green flag pit stops and kind of lost 2 positions, but still been running in the top 5 regardless here tonight. And she's been doing an absolutely fantastic job here in this event and definitely got a lot of momentum on her side as she wound up winning last night in the truck race. I know I'm saying that a lot, but definitely gotta remind everybody of that. That's for sure. And there's Curris in the 44 once again, having herself a really good run here tonight. Remember, she comes into this race dead last in the point standings. Yes, dead last in the points. And so far, she is running inside of the top 5 in the 3rd position and doing an absolutely amazing job riding in 3rd for her own team, or a 420 Blaze It. Well, that's the team that she owns the Cup Series, but here in the Xfinity Series, she drives for Appalachia Motorsports full time, and so far, I'd say she's doing a fantastic job riding in the 3rd spot.
Yeah, and I know I kind of leaked it that I was going to be coming here part-time next year, and seeing how everybody's racing, I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually kind of nervous.
Oh, one car on pit road. That's Reagan DeFeo. And here we go. Our second round of green flag pit stops and potentially the money stops are just now getting started. Marsh is in, along with Munsell, Nick Martin, and several others. They're making their way on pit road. Let's see who out of our leaders is going to make that turn on into the pits. All of them, with the exception of Eric Blaze. Blaze stays out, and he's going to lead a lap. Oh boy. Dana Mon is also in. Also Jordan Sumner. And several other drivers stay out, including John Boyd. Also saw Bobby McGuire, Brock Nelson in the 74, amongst Sam Robinson, who stays out. Reagan DeFeo down and away. Campbell Marsh as well. And here goes Kasumi Takashi into her pit stall. On the left-hand side of your screen, you see Noah Carr's left sides now going on. And looks like Carr's going to be able to get out ahead of the 39.
Ooh,
and
44 got ahead too.
Definitely, oh, this is actually pretty interesting, but Curris definitely now breaking out as she comes out second out of the group that she pitted with. As Cars makes his way back out on the racetrack, there goes the 45 of Reagan DeFeo around the 92. And that may potentially be the race lead and maybe the win that may go into the hands of Reagan DeFeo as you see Sam Robinson and Austin Kane make their way into the pits. And I'm not sure, but I think Derek Hamill may or may not have stayed out or has yet to make his pit stop. But we are closing in on 30 laps to go. So, I mean, who knows? I mean, maybe even Derek Hamill could potentially be stretching it, or unless if he already did make his pit stop. I'm pretty sure he did. He is definitely up to speed with everybody else. more than likely. But Reagan Whitlock in the number 54 currently scored as the leader. There she is. She's making her way back out on the racetrack, but I would have to believe she's definitely going to lose a lot of spots after pitting as late as she did. And oh my goodness, that's definitely going to be kind of a heartbreaker, if anything, for Reagan Whitlock, because she was running absolutely spectacular here in this event. And now she has been marred all the way back to what looks to be the 13th position. So with that said, the race lead now is in the hands of the 45 of Reagan DeFeo. My, oh my, if Reagan DeFeo gets her 3rd win of the season, she will definitely make history as becoming the first female driver, the first woman in the WRLA Xfinity Series to win 3 races in a single season. That would be absolutely impressive. So far, coming to 20 laps to go, she leads the way. Running in second is Noah Cars. Haley Curris in third. Eric Blaze now moves up to 4th. Campbell Marsh completes your top 5, followed by Erica Douglas in 6th, Kasumi Takashi in 7th. Josiah Munsell enters the top 10 for the first time tonight in 8th. Sarah Taylor gets kicked back to 9th, and Dana Mon rounds out your top 10, coming to 19 laps to go here in Nashville. Noah Cars definitely started to eat into that lead just a little bit. Definitely chipped away at 0.3 of a second, so the gap is now down to 2/3 between the 45 and the 92. It definitely is going to come down to DeFeo and Cars for the race win here tonight. DeFeo wound up making the trip from Talladega Superspeedway. She ran the truck race last night and definitely didn't have the best of runs in the truck race. I think she wound up taking home a top 10, if I'm not mistaken, but so far here in this event, doing a very fantastic job. Running about a half a second ahead of Noah Cars, who's now starting to eat into that lead. Is now down to 0.4 of a second. Cars definitely starting to reel in Reagan DeFeo in the closing stages of this race here in Nashville.
I think it might end up being, by the way, it's looking maybe just a 2-horse race for the win.
Definitely looking like that's going to be the case. Another 10th has been chipped off with the 92 of Cars starting to close in just a little bit more on the 45 of Reagan DeFeo, who's definitely chasing history here tonight. This would be absolutely huge if Reagan DeFeo is going to be able to get the job done. She is currently, if I'm not mistaken, 3rd in the point standings. Remember, she won at Chicagoland, or not Chicagoland, excuse me. She won at Auto Club and Charlotte earlier this year. And now trying to get her 3rd win of the year, this time at Nashville. Our points leader, Ray Atikian, he went into the pits 23rd. He left 23rd. So I think that's probably the highest that Ray Atikian's going to get here tonight. But this lead, this win, or at least this battle between the 45 and the 92, it's getting a little bit more interesting. Cars now down to 0.2 of a second between the two drivers, closing in on that 10 to go mark. It'll be 13 laps of racing to go this time by.
Looking at the points entering this race tonight, Reagan is actually 4th, 16 points behind John Boyd.
How about that, actually? Still inside of the top 5, but will definitely get some very good points to potentially move her a little bit closer to the points lead of Ray Atikian, who again sits 23rd. So this is definitely going to be pretty close. So, well, Russell, if you're in the position of Noah Kars, who definitely has shown that he has the faster car, he's definitely got a better setup underneath his car compared to the 45. What do you do in this position?
But I would try to just run the same line that they are to try to get that draft, and then try to slingshot on the inside. Because inside it seems to be the way to go.
Well, it looks like Cars kind of ran a little bit of a wider line heading through 1 and 2. You saw the 45 of Reagan DeFeo almost to the yellow line. Remember, there is no double yellow line rule here, so there is no out of bounds. You can practically go anywhere. Hell, you could even mow the lawn going through the grass here on the front straightaway and not get penalized for it. So you could potentially even pull off the pass in the grass, if anything, here in NR 2003. But so far, now 10 laps to go here at Nashville, and Cars with an opportunity to get his first win in 9 years. Currently trailing behind the 45 by 0.18 seconds. Chips in by another 1/100th. Just getting a little bit closer, but time is running out. If you definitely got the better car, it's time to show it. It is definitely time to show it. Keep running the same lines. Definitely keep playing those mind games, if anything. And possibly maybe even force Reagan DeFeo into position to where she might make a mistake. And that could, if anything, give the opening that Noah Kars may need to potentially win this race. But the gap remains the same as they head back through 1 and 2.
Right out of time, but I believe Noah Kars has a shot, like a legit shot at taking the win.
Gap is right now still the same between the two. It's been the same, 0.17 seconds for the last 3 laps. I wonder if that's the closest that Noah Kars is going to get to this number 45 of Reagan DeFeo. And definitely want to give a huge shout out one more time to Haley Curris, who is 1.2 seconds back from the leaders. You also got Eric Blaze back there running in the 4th spot. Probably may not be a win here tonight, Russell, but you still got to be pretty proud of this top 5 effort that is coming out of Eric Blaze here tonight in Nashville.
Well, like, most definitely. You know, to me, in a way, granted, it may not be a checker flag win, but to me, in his young career, it's a win in my book.
I would definitely have to agree with that. Campbell Marsh for Walker Family Motorsports doing a fantastic job running in the 5th position. Definitely the highest running Walker Family Motorsports car in the field. Late in the going with 5 laps to go, 0.16 seconds. Cars is just a little bit closer, but maybe, just maybe, it might not be enough time. Coming to 4 laps to go. Gap is increased by another 2/100ths. May not be much of a difference, but visually, but obviously the interval, you can definitely see it in the interval. That is the true difference maker. Coming to 3 laps away from history. If Reagan DeFeo can hold on and hopefully allow the fuel to last in this number 45, and she will have her 3rd win of the season here in the Xfinity Series. Also, great runs tonight for even Josiah Munsell, and we touched on him a little bit ago, currently running in the 8th spot. Kasumi Takashi, after starting on the pole, fell back to 7th, but still hanging out in the top 10 regardless. And even Erica Douglas running in the 6th spot She'll definitely get some very good points if she's going to have any sort of shot at potentially staying inside of the top 10. Lap and a half to go here at Nashville. The gap has definitely shrunk just a little bit more. It's going to have to take a little bit more for Noah Cars to potentially steal the win away from Reagan DeFeo. They worked their way off a 4. White flag in the win. 1 lap to go for Reagan DeFeo. The gap is now 1.6 seconds. And Cars gets a little bit closer, but I don't think it will be enough. DeFeo works her way down the backstretch into 3 one final time. I think the deal is sealed, Russell. History has been made. Say hello to the first woman to win 3 times in one season for the WRLA Xfinity Series.
That is truly, truly impressive.
Truly impressive indeed. Big, and I would definitely second that. Big hats off to Appalachia Motorsports and Reagan DeFeo. Their Xfinity Series program has been absolutely spectacular as Reagan DeFeo makes history. She becomes the first woman in WRLA history to win 3 races, 3 Xfinity Series races in one season. I think even the same thing overall, if anything. So, actually, no, that is kind of a lie because it would be the first woman in the Xfinity Series to win 3 races in one season. But Noah Cars, great effort out of him. He'll come home in the 2nd position. Haley Curse, again, a very much needed night here tonight as she finishes in 3rd. Eric Blaze 4th. Campbell Marsh rounds out your top 5, followed by Erica Douglas finishing in the 6th position. Kasumi Takashi, she finishes in 7th. Josiah Munsell 8th. Sarah Taylor 9th. And Dana Mon complete your top 10. And how about this, Russell? Nobody went out of the race. Nobody went a lap down. So we definitely had ourselves a very safe and clean race here at the Nashville Super Speedway. How about that?
From being up here, I learned, and racing last year, see if the track has changed any, and I'm looking to defend my win tomorrow night, and hopefully I can.
Well, hopefully you are able to get your 2nd win of the season and back-to-back wins at Nashville Super Speedway, and definitely repeat history in the process. And we're definitely going to let you go be with your team here for tomorrow night. Get debriefed and ready to go for tomorrow night's Cup festivities. Thank you so much for joining us here in the booth, Russell, and have yourself a great rest of your night. And we'll see you tomorrow for NOS Energy Cup Series action here.
Thank you.
But alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, that is pretty much going to do it here for tonight's festivities here at the Nashville Super Speedway for the Xfinity Series side. Be sure to join us right back here on Twitch tomorrow. We'll have qualifying at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the NOS Energy Cup Series. And then following that at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the green flag will fly for 150 laps, our 150 lap main event here at the Nashville Super Speedway for the WRLA NOS Energy Cup Series. That's definitely going to be a very fun one, and we hope that you guys will be able to tune in to see all the action from here at the Nashville Super Speedway. One more time, congratulations to Reagan DeFeo on getting the job done here at Nashville for her 3rd win of the season. It has never been done before by a woman here in the Xfinity Series, and Reagan DeFeo finally breaks that barrier. Be sure to keep an eye on the point standings in the WRLA Discord once this premiere concludes, and definitely going to be a very fun time. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for us here at Nashville. Have a great rest of your night. Take care, and we will see you all tomorrow for WRLA NOS Energy Cup Series action from here at Nashville Super Speedway. This WRLA telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or reused without any authorized written consent of 11 Broadcasting. WRLA would like to thank all of our loyal fans for their continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.